if you think you can leave this place, go get a gun, and come back in 30 minutes. Good, okay, good. Let me ask you another question. And again, raise your hands. How many of you know someone who's been shot? Raise them high. 2 of you out of, how many have there? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have done this before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, 2 out of 8. Okay. And how many of you think youth violence is getting out of hand in Waterbury? All of you. Thank you very much. You two, can I talk to you? Do you mind? Okay, I'm not gonna get too specific, but how does that make you guys feel?
Oh.
2 hands up.
Too many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think a good question too is, do they feel safe in Waterbury?
Ooh, see, now you're gonna get me in trouble. Police chief or something.
No, I'm not running them, so I don't know.
That's a big question.
I like that. No, I'm just saying in general, because as an adult, I see, I shouldn't be talking so much.
That's okay.
But as an adult, I feel a different level of safety for myself.
That's a
I'm
good,
not
that's actually a good
child.
question. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And,
so I'm wondering if they.
Are you part of the group who said, oh no, I don't want to participate?
Yeah.
This will be a long night, y'all. Raise your hands. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Can I please get some quiet on set? I'm just kidding. You guys, raise your hands if you feel safe in Waterbury. None of you, for real? See, now you got me going.
You're welcome.
Oh, man, okay. Thank you for your honesty, guys. Does everybody stare at you all the time in front of me? Oh, looking at me now? Put the camera in your face, too. I'll be like this. All right. You two rose your hands when you said you know somebody who's been shot. Don't look at me like that. You're the one who rose your hand. Can I talk to you about that? Not anything specific. I don't want to know who or the circumstance, but that's okay? Okay, I'll talk to you.
Be mindful, guys, if you're shy, Chandler, it's only the back that he's recording, so they don't see it.
That's why I did it that way. I'll put people on the back of the head. Alright. So what I'm gonna do with you here, is I'm gonna put this right here, okay? Put that right there, and then hold on to this in your lap for me, okay? And you get to go first, which is the most challenging. Somebody got, oh. All right. Is that comfortable? I'm not all of it, good. What's your name?
Chandler.
How do you spell it?
Chandbler.
And your last name?
Bryant.
How do you spell that?
Bryant.
How old are you?
16.
You're already doing better than Mr. Leach.
Yeah. It's not hard.
He got stuck on what's your name. You rose your hand when you answered my question if you know somebody who was shot. How old are you?
16.
16. And how old was the person you know who was shot?
18.
18. How does that make you feel, being so young and knowing somebody who was shot?
Sad.
How does it make you feel?
Sad,
Why?
because he was too young.
Did he pass away? I'm sorry. What do you think about what's happening in the city lately? There are stories of teenagers being shot and being involved in violence. It seems like every week.
I don't think it's good.
I'm sorry if this is hard to talk about. What they're trying to do is make sure you guys are okay. And do you hear about violence a lot in the streets? As a young person growing up, how does that make you feel?
Not safe.
What do you think about what these folks are doing here at Ungroup Society?
I think it's a good thing because they're not only teaching you, but they're giving you something to do after school.
Why is that important?
So you're not running around doing things you're not supposed to do.
Do you think they can make a difference and lead you guys down a positive path?
Yeah.
What would you like to say to them?
Thank you for doing this program and letting us kids come here and just being there for us in general.
You see how it was in a positive note. Thank you very much. I know that was not easy for you to do.
That's okay.
But what we're dealing with now is not easy, is it? What's his name next to you?
Joshua.
Do you think you could do a better job than Joshua? Joshua's gonna.
I don't know, like, the answer is these questions, and the questions about the same, I don't know how to answer.
Josh, I don't even know what questions I'm gonna ask you. Would that be okay to talk to you? It's all right? All right, thanks, Josh. Oh, by the way, listen, when I asked him what his name was, it was Josh. But then I picked up the camera and I started pointing, and then he said, oh, it's Joshua.
And get it right.
All right, Josh, unzip your hoodie a little bit, okay?
Well, you gotta be
That's all right, not all the way, that's all right. That's all right, that's all right.
to that.
We'll do this fine.
Either bathroom.
This way, hopefully it'll fall off. Okay, put this in your lap, and you can zip up your jacket, well, hide that cord. Listen, y'all, we're gonna be doing some financial literacy tonight, right? So, if Hollywood discovers you based on my video, I get 10%. They'll tell you how much that is.
They learn too much about financial literacy to go for that one.
Why? I got you for 12. All right. Well, that's a good shot, except for that dude in the background trying to photograph.
I'm moving. I know you're going such an angle.
Neither did I, man. We're freestyling here. All right, hey Josh, what's your name?
Joshua
You're doing great so far, man. Joshua, what's your last name?
Bryant,
How do you spell that?
Bryant,
And how old are you?
13.
You rose your hand when I asked if anybody here knew somebody who was shot. How old was the person you know who was shot?
14.
14. Your friend?
Yeah.
How did that affect you?
Like, it made me, like, think, it made me, like, think a lot about myself.
Think about yourself how?
Like, to stay up, like, to chill, like, self-defense and stuff.
Do you think there is too much violence involving young people in Waterbury?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
because my friend, he was 14, he got shot. He's only 14, so
Is he still with us?
yeah,
Did he die?
yes.
Oh, he died. Not only do you two know someone who was shot, you know someone young who died. What questions do you have about that? You thought about this in your mind, right? Someone so young, like you mentioned, how tough is that for you?
Pretty tough.
Is it hard to even think about right now?
Yeah.
What do you think is going on in the city?
I don't know.
When you're doing a great job, Josh, by the way. Thank you very much. When you hear about all these recent incidents in the city, what's going through your mind?
This is crazy.
Do you feel safe in the city?
You know,
Do you ever wonder what can we do to keep kids out of trouble?
because there's like so many kids getting in trouble.
With what?
There's so many kids getting in trouble, so we do bad things. Like you can't just put them all in jail.
Do you think programs like this could help?
Yeah,
How?
because like after school they could go to this program and it'll keep them off the streets and stuff, keep them off the violence.
What does it mean for you to be here with the Ungroup Society?
Like that helps me a lot. It shows me like how to finance my money and stuff when I get older and I'll be wealthy.
Do you have dreams?
Yes,
What do you want to be?
like I want to have like my own like shop where I fix cars and stuff.
Very good. Mine's broken down. You might be able to fix my new car in that right now. Why is it important for these adults in this program to do what they do interacting with you guys? Why do you think it's important?
I think it's important because like it teaches us what to do and later on.
By them giving their time for you guys, what does that say to you?
I mean, they're like nice people who really want to help other people.
What can you do as a teenager to try to stay out of trouble, stay away from the stuff that took your friend and other people's friends?
Don't go like next to people that like are bad and stuff. Try to just stay by your real friends.
How hard is that to do?
Not really hard.
Good, good. All right. All these people listening to what you're saying, how does that make you feel?
I don't know.
All these people staring at you? You're great, Josh. Thank you very much. What do you hope, Josh? This is a deep question, okay? What do you hope for your friends around you?
Hope they become rich and wealthy.
That sound good to you guys? Remember, 15%.
It went from 10 to 15, like.
You caught it.
All you gotta do is sign and say, no.
You get 3%.
Okay, I can edit you. I'm not gonna, take up any more of your time, you guys. Thank you very much.
Nice job, guys.
You guys did great.
That's not easy to do, I know. Stay safe. Oh, you guys, anybody follow baseball in here?
No, don't. No,
I didn't see one.
Don't you peer pressure them.
don't engage them in this.
No. Why not?
Thank you so much.
Is he back in the losing team or is he back in the winning team? Okay.
What?
Hold on, just so sidebar.
Oh, wow, above and beyond, look at that, thank you. Yeah, that's okay. That's not good. Hey, you guys turn around, see, if I tried to talk to him before you came in, but he used this big old thing, he was like, you asked me a bad question.
See what percentage you can get from him.
Okay.
Yes, guys.
And by the way, on your road to getting rich, don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Alright. Hey, Josh, I hope you do get rich so you can pay for that chair. Thank you very much. Alright.
How's everyone doing today?
Well, okay.
So obviously you know what we always do. The first thing before we start every class is what? Exactly. So let's stand up because we want to always have positive reinforcement before we do anything. All right. So remember, we got to say these affirmations like we believe it, right? So, number one.
I will attend each class.
Number one.
I will attend each class.
Number two.
I will get a bank account.
Number three.
I will retain information from this class.
Number four.
I will use this class to help me later in life.
And remember, we got to say number five real loud. Number five.
I will accomplish my goals.
Thank you. Great.
Can you do me a favor? I didn't hear number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, stand up. Everybody stand up. I didn't hear number 5.
I got to say number five loud. Number five.
I will accomplish my goals.
Number five.
I will accomplish my goals.
Number five.
I will accomplish my goals.
All right. Good job. Good job.
Thanks for breaking my microphone.
Warren got it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So today's class, we're going to be talking about retirement. Right? Now, retirement is very important. It's something that you should be thinking about pretty much at any age. Once you start getting into the habit of, collecting money and working, you want to start thinking about your future, right? So our learning takeaways from today's lesson is, what is retirement? What is an IRA? What is a Roth IRA? What is a 401k and a 403b? What is compound interest? Right? So, if I were to ask you what retirement is, what would you say?
Money that you set in the beginning of your life or the middle of your life, to the end of your life when you are finished with your job for a long period of time.
Nice, love it.
When you reach a certain age and you're financially ready to leave your job.
I like that. You're financially ready to leave your job. Okay, so let me ask you guys believe that retirement in age or a financial number? A financial number? Show of hands, how many think it's a financial number? How many think it's an age? Okay. All right. I like that. We're going to dig into that a little bit deeper. So, retirement is, where do you see yourself after your working days are over? Is retirement an age or a financial number, which we just covered? How much money do you need in order to retire? So these are questions that we have to ask ourselves when we're thinking about retirement. Remember how we worked on SMART goals? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, right? These are SMART goals. Your retirement should always be in SMART goal format. Because if it's not in a SMART goal format, then you're literally just wishing that you can make it to the end of your retirement, your working years, and be able to survive on your own, right? So these are all good questions when we're talking about retirement. Retirement is the act of leaving one normal 9 to 5 and resting literally for the remainder of your life, right? Because you worked so hard all this time to do what? To be able to retire, right? At that age, you're gonna have grandkids, and you're gonna love your grandbabies, right? You're gonna wanna play with your grandbabies, right? You're gonna wanna travel. But if you do not plan accordingly, guess what? You're gonna be working. And it's sad, it saddens me to say that I've been in positions in which, work a part-time job, and I've seen people in their late 60s, early 70s, working hard labor jobs. And I'm like, this is the time that you're supposed to be resting, right? Doing what you want to do in life, right? But they didn't plan accordingly, right? And so that now they're in a situation in which they have to continue to work, right? So this class is mainly to teach you how to prepare for your retirement. Because if you can get these, what we're going to teach you, if you can get these instilled in you at an early age, I can see you guys retiring a lot sooner than the retirement age. So again, where do you see when your working days are over? Well, that all depends on you and what you set in place, right? If you haven't made any plans, then you will see yourself working well beyond your resting years. If you have created an action plan and followed it, you should live the retirement dream that you set for yourself. Do you have to wait till the retirement age to retire? We already asked this question, right? No. So, absolutely not. Retirement is not an age but a number, right? Because the thing is, if you have enough money to sustain you for the remainder of your life, right? If you have enough assets, remember, assets are things that, you can make money, things that appreciate over time. If you have enough assets, if you have enough investments, if you have compound interest, right, growing in your behalf, if you have a situation in which you're having multiple streams of income coming in, right? Do you need to work a normal 9 to 5?
No.
You don't,
No.
right?
And ladies, just remember, you live longer.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Ladies, remember, you said you'd give me 20%.
it rolls like.
So, again, if you have saved enough money to live off of, have a steady stream of residual income. This word is very important, residual income. This is income that comes in after you doing something one time. If you set something in place one time, if you set the building blocks in place one time, your income will residually come. For instance, if you purchase real estate and you have an investment property and your tenants pay you rent every single month, how many times did you purchase that property? One time, right? And every single month that you have tenants, you're receiving what? Money. You set something in place one time, right? And you're residually being paid. That's what residual income is.
Just like we talked about last week, if you are getting stocks that offer what? Dividends, right? You purchase that stock one time, but it's continuing paying out every time that company is making money, right? That's when we talk about building wealth and sustaining it long term. Those are the type of things we want to think about.
Absolutely.
Go back there. There was an important thing on there that he forgot to say because he got caught up on residual income, right? Have no debt. See, a lot of people get caught up going back to work after they've reached their retirement age because they still have debt, right? You can't retire with debt in your pockets. Now, I never want you guys to go into that in the first place, but you gotta think. There's no way that you can actually rest if you still have people that are pulling at your money, right? So I just wanted to point that out.
And it's funny because, again, when I said that I was working these part-time jobs, and the reason why I was doing this was to, get out of debt, right? A way for me to kind of, get ahead of my debt and kind of, eliminate that. So what I would do, because I'm like, inquisitive type person, I would ask these people, and I'm like, man, like, why are you still working? And they would literally tell me, like, I still have a mortgage, or I still have student loans, or I have consumer debt. Debt is such, remember, we said that debt is that 4-letter word. There's a lot of 4-letter words in the English language that you guys shouldn't be saying. And debt is one of those words. I know y'all thinking of the words in your minds and y'all laughing. Don't be saying none of them words, just like debt. But debt is one of those words, those 4-letter words, right? And the thing is once you don't have any debt, student loan debt, how student loan debt, you could start your life. How freeing would it be to graduate college in 4 years and literally get a job, and the money that you start making from your job can literally go to whatever you want to go to instead of the government or any private loan agencies that you took your student loans out of, right? So that's why it's very important to have debt eliminated from the equation. How much do you need to retire? This is a good question. This is a really good question.
How could you figure it out?
Well, huh?
Oh,
Go ahead.
you know how when we was doing, what is it called? We put like money into different categories.
Mhm.
What is that?
Budget.
Yes. Is retirement one that you're supposed to budget?
Yes, absolutely. Because how do you know how much you need to live off of? You would need to use your budget. Remember how we explained that your budget is literally the life tool of your entire financial journey? So no matter what, from point A to point Z, your budget is always going to be a part of it. Because your budget is going to allow you to look back, right, and see what is it you need to actually, survive. Let me ask you a question. What do you guys want to do? Like, as far as, if you didn't have to work, what would you do?
When you're older.
You own houses in multiple places.
Own houses in multiple places.
I
love
like it. Vacation anywhere.
A stock investor. Love it. Listen, if you got money coming in, bro. Facts.
Even those people getting.
I have my own store.
Your own store? Oh, what kind of store? Nice.
I was just about to say that.
Travel. What about you? You probably you eat, right?
I would get all the shoes that I want.
All the shoes you
Like
want?
every single
Girl, you only
shoe
got
that
2
come out-
feet.
Every single shoe that come out, I want.
You only got 2 feet.
We're one a day.
Yeah.
But see, those are all good things to think about, right? Because these are all things that you think about in your retirement, right? In your retirement. But what about thinking about those things before your retirement, right? And start to have those happen to you now, right? So, if you want to travel the world, what does that look like? If you want to relax on a beach, right? 6 months out of the year, what does that look like? If you want to play golf, play video games, play basketball, get dunked on, you know what I mean? Like,
Not right now. Right.
why? Because it's hot. Yeah, well, because I'm under medication. So, etc. So these are all things to think about, right? You would have to figure out the cost of living these lifestyles. So, for instance, when my wife and I, we did a retirement calculator, right? There's actually a calculator that you can input numbers in to kind of see how much money you would need to survive off in your retirement. Can anyone guess what our retirement?
40,000.
40,000?
Wait, I didn't even hear the question.
If this was Jeopardy, we would have lost.
Like, I don't even know
So,
what you was about to
what do you
ask.
think that me and my wife, how much money we would need to live off of in our retirement? 70,000?
No, lost two people?
Yeah.
Oh,
$7,000.
no.
800,000, okay.
1 mil.
1 mil?
I was gonna say mil. I said 7,000.
7,000? 7,
70, what'd you say?
2 mil? Well, Chandler is closer. If we wanted to retire and live the lifestyle we want to, it would cost us what, 4.5 million?
Ooh.
See? So that's a lot of money, right? Because you gotta understand, when you retire, like, that's it.
I'm trying to travel, y'all. I'm trying to
Yeah, and
travel.
she eat a lot too, so half of that money is in her belly. So.
I don't know, I just feel like I would be scared to run out if I were retired. I would just be, now imagine
Well,
imagine if I ran out of money,
I mean, you bring up a really good point. You bring up a really good point. But how do we avoid running out of money? Exactly. Imagine,
I would be so hard.
But here's the thing, once you have enabled a habit, like once you start a habit, it's very hard to break it, right? So if you get into the habit of budgeting your money and living off of that, it's gonna be very hard for you to sway from that so far. That you run out of money to live off.
Don't you still get money for your job?
your workplace retirement fund, right?
Yeah, they don't just give you money.
Oh no, this is not like the old days in which companies used to give you pensions because those companies loved you, right? And they, it was like a network of like family, right? It was an atmosphere of family. Companies would literally put in money into pension plans or retirement plans for you, and then when you retire, the company will literally give you that money, right?
It was also a different time because you also stayed with one job for
Yeah, people were loyal. What's that song? Well, I'll say the song, but they ain't loyal no more. Like, so, but that's the thing, right? Like, companies were loyal back then, and employees were loyal. But nowadays, I mean, like it's like what, 2 to 3 jobs?
It's hard.
People jumping from job to job to
It's
job.
hard to
Like,
find someone that's stuck with a job for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
so we're going to do a little so we're actually going to do the retirement calculator, right? And we're going to do it as a class to kind of see what you guys will consider, what your retirement would be like. We all know what inflation is. We've heard the term.
What is it, Josh?
When the price of everything goes up over time.
Correct. Yeah, so the dollar goes down. Because, for instance, back in my days, I don't know. How much it costs to ride the bus right now?
Like
$1.50?
No, it's $1.75.
70 cents.
mine is.
I rode the bus back in the days, it's like 70 cents.
They made it free when it was COVID.
Oh.
When I had my summer job, it was free.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Can I have a tissue for my nose?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Janelle? Can I talk to your mother?
Can you talk to my mom?
Yes.
I don't care. Go ahead. What in the world?
She said she don't care about you.
She doesn't care. Why in the world? Why would I care?
I'm just having fun.
Oh.
I also said Janelle asked a question about the budget, and how can my mother budget more money to give to me?
It's going to be a category, So, while this is loading, so while this is loading, we're going to, again, as a class, pretend that we're retiring together, right? And this calculation is literally going to show us how much money we'll need.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's called a RIQ tool. So it's a pretty basic tool and it's very user friendly, right? So as you can see on the board, right? As a class, do we want a retirement that's going to be relaxing, family oriented, hobbies, recreation, travel, or how many people say travel? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so 4. But wait, we got 8 people.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, so we got 4 for travel.
What are the other ones? They said relaxing.
Relaxing. How many for relaxing? We can't vote twice. All right, so travel it is. Because travel is the majority. So we're gonna click on travel.
Traveling is fun, like.
All right. Now, what is your annual income? So,
65,000.
all right, I love it. 65,000.
I'm not gonna go along.
All right.
I got a picture.
All right. So now it says, if you were to retire tomorrow, how much would you need to fund your dream? $5,417 a month.
Right, that's what I said.
Are we doing it all together or one person?
So yes, this is for one person.
Oh, it's not, that's good.
No, so what this is saying, guys, is if you wanted to retire tomorrow, you would need to put aside in your retirement account $5,417 every month.
Hold on.
That's more than you're gonna be taking home with $65,000.
The annual income was what?
65,000.
Are you writing it?
What you want to do?
And then you got $5 before.
So,
Do the math. Let's see if you can get it right.
Now you know.
time frame, right?
So,
Are you talking, do we wanna stay in the middle as far as traveling, right?
We need to raise it.
Do we wanna be more modest or more
What's modest?
extravagant?
so extravagant is like you traveling first class.
Extravagant.
Oh,
Extravagant. Yes.
Wait, so
I did not retire to be.
so now you gotta set aside 8,000 a month.
Okay, but I'll get to it eventually.
But see,
No,
that's the
you're
thing.
not.
But see, that's the thing. Remember how we talked about multiple streams of income? This is not a bad number. You can actually get that with, having your multiple streams from your stock investments, from your real estate investments, from, opening multiple shops, right? As long as you have the residual income coming in, that you can crush that number easily.
Alright, so let's hypothetically say that we're all of working age, which is what, 16 still, right? They didn't drop that or anything? 16, right? So my thing is, when you start working, you need to start, remember we talked about this, if there's a place that has retirement, you start contributing right away, right? Chick-fil-A, Old Navy, I don't know any other places, but I know they're there.
buddy.
So, here is it. How many years until you'd like to retire?
25.
Are you just saying that because it's right here?
No, I'm saying that because.
At what age would you guys want to retire?
60.
I like that.
64. I mean, young is better,
90.
obviously, but.
Bruh, you retire.
Wait,
50.
I like 40. Because
30.
is 40 old?
Yes.
Yes. That's not even that old, yeah.
40 is not old.
It's not
I'm
old.
almost 40. It ain't old. Okay?
30.
Huh?
39.
No, what am I, 37?
I
Because listen, after a certain age, you just stop counting.
Can I ask how old you are?
34.
Oh.
After a certain age, you just stop counting. Like, what's the point? Because when you hit 13, you're a teenager, right? 16, you're 16, you can start driving. 18, you're a little independent.
Wait.
21, you're an adult.
You said 16 you start driving, she's not driving.
Alright. She going to be. For a ride.
You're an adult, right? And then when you hit 30, now after that, what's the point of counting anymore?
Still working.
Okay, but still, I like to know my age.
Well, it's funny because sometimes she forget too, because she has to ask our daughter how old she is.
I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know. How do you forget? I'd be like, he's like 50.
So, alright, so the oldest person in here is what, 18?
No, I'm
17.
17. Alright, so if we say like 25 years, so we can keep it at 25 years. That's gonna hit you in your 40s, right?
Oh,
Right?
stop it, God.
So So how much have you already having investments?
Let's say 25,000.
All right, 25K.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just saying a random number.
Go ahead.
So then we need 4 million.
That's what you would need to retire.
That's what
4
you need.
million.
4.1
$149,000.
to that extravagant travel.
Just like you.
Right, exactly. So what this means is that on a monthly basis, you'll need to put into some form of retirement account, invested account, $2,418
On a monthly basis?
Oh,
on a monthly basis.
Okay, that's.
Okay, so
That's
if you get 65,000 a year, how much would you get a month?
65,000. A monthly, that's around roughly about $4,000
Yeah, depending on
because
like.
taxes. But listen to this. So that's $4 million, right? What if you had your $4 million in an investment account that you're receiving 10%, which is not like ridiculously, to think about, right?
Would Amazon stock get you that much money?
But forget it. Well, yeah, it can. But just listen to this. 10% of $1 million is how much?
Like,
Right.
Close.
Oh, 100,000.
100,000. So if 10% of $1 million is 100,000, what's 10% of $4 million? 400,000. Do you think that you can live very comfortably off of $400,000 a year?
no.
have to get up.
What? Wait, 400,000 a year?
400,000.
Oh,
a year.
Mind you were just making 65,000.
Oh,
Yeah, you talking about
So I would
You're not.
well,
That's not lowering it.
that's-
It's 400,000.
Listen, I thought, you know how much I would do with that?
But see, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, right? So you have the $4 million in the bank. You ain't touching that. You're living off the interest. So the interest is 400,000, which means that every year your $4 million is going to grow by 400,000. So you can literally leave your $4 million in the bank, never touch that money, and live off the interest. How do you think rich people stay rich? They don't spend their money. They spend the interest on their money.
Reinvest some of that, right? Because they're not using all of that. They reinvest some of that, and then you're building generational wealth because you're leaving it for your little ones after you, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, you got
Don't
LeBron.
do that, that's disrespectful.
Mr. Beast.
I didn't know.
You got, yeah, right? Mr. Beast. You got LeBron. LeBron has, what? He has contracts that's $100 million, right? $100 million. What's 10% of $100 million? 10 million. So if LeBron just wanted to and that's just off of like a sneaker deal. That's not even his regular contract, right? That's off of sneaker deals. That's not off of his contract or his movies, none of that. So if LeBron just said, I'm just gonna put 100 million in an investment account and just eat off of the 10%, that's $10 million a year. And he never touches his $100 million.
Remember we
Do you
talked
see-
about principal amount?
Can you see why rich people stay rich?
That's crazy.
Because they don't spend their money. They don't need to. Once they have their money in these investment accounts in which they're receiving interest, they never have to touch the actual money that they started in that account. Poor people mentality is to spend that money that you have and take it away from your investments, right? Unplug it out of your investments. We don't want to do that. No. When we say poor people, we're talking about a mentality. We're not talking about an individual person. Because
It's a mental state.
poor is a mental state. Because I'm gonna tell you what. I was born in Jamaica, right? I was born in a country in Jamaica. Now, where I'm from in Jamaica, you would consider it like a third world country, right? But you couldn't tell me I was poor. Like I was having fun. We had the river. Everything was cool. Like you couldn't tell me. I didn't know what poor was, right? Maybe to American standards, yeah, we weren't up there, right? But in my mind, I'm having the time of my life, right?
And the food?
Exactly.
Please.
So, but someone from American suburbs come to my little, town area in Jamaica, they'll look at it and like, poor. Yeah, you guys are poor, right? But I'm like, poor
they be getting water from the.
Oh yeah, the river is right there.
Maybe you're on there in those videos. I'd be like, now y'all know. People don't know.
So what he was saying is that because poor is a mentality, right?
It's 6:29.
It's 6:29, so I got a minute to talk. So he's saying it's like it's a mental state, right? Because if your thought process is, man, I got this money in, I gotta like spend it before I lose it or it disappears or something, then it's like, no, you're not thinking like somebody who's going to be wealthy or be building wealth. Because when somebody that's wealthy gets money, their first thought is, oh, how can I make this dollar make me $5? Right? Instead of, man, what can I buy with this dollar? It's a different switch, right? So that's what you guys have to like think, start thinking about when you're working is, how can I get my money to make money instead of how fast or how much money can I spend or what can I get with this?
Too many runs for $1.
All right. You guys can eat now.
Minutes up.
We'll finish the lesson after. So, ladies.
Sanitize and walk.
3 ladies.
I could have died. What kind of brother are you?
If somebody was.
In the Reese's all right.
Yeah. I'm not laughing.
No, you wouldn't, because you're you want to take a picture?
He had one to take out from and he only 20. So at the end of the game, it was $6. $20.
I like it too. I like it.
They swing it to the corner, swing around, swing it to me. They're like 1.2 seconds left. I swing it, that's it. Rolled in the
What you said?
I was
Along.
I was when the game retired. It would have tied you.
I'm not rich like you, bro.
I'm not rich.
You're wrong with me.
Who are you guys?
That's a great.
I was going to, we were
Nah, that's
we were in 3-2.
The little white thing in the middle, that's what you hold for pizza and then hold.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look at that. I already
So you're not touching
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna say that.
I didn't know what it was for.
I thought it was a tape.
I'd say what you want to eat pizza.
It's a mini table.
I used to save them.
Same for
Why
what?
did you want to?
I was
Bottle cap.
I was a little weirdo. I like it.
Them things are
I used to
I
take
tried
those
some
and
of them.
stuff.
Things are too bad.
What did you say? It was six
Gatorade caps. Like, how you chew on that?
Yeah.
It's so much.
Oh,
Oh, that part, yeah.
You gotta wear what color tomorrow? I gotta wear red. I don't got no pig. I love red. Oh, you got my jacket still. I know. Just take it tomorrow. Or today, I have it. No. Cause I want my leggings with me. Girl, you know you gotta be reminding me. I will.
Yeah, that was a playoff game.
No, that was a game. And we look at how good all the way at them.
Whoa, you got one? Son of a
That's when I start looking.
Damn. That was
All right, fellas.
Ashton was probably harder too when he was freshman. But
Oh,
I don't
okay.
blame him.
I feel like it's brighter.
I was rooting for you.
Is it like
I don't know. They
Yeah.
say Nate, he plays good sometimes.
Nate, no, it looked brighter.
Did you open it triple?
He was hurt. He broke his wrist.
Oh,
He did.
Because he was going around and like jumping and grabbing the wrist.
what's tomorrow? There's a who's winning?
Me and William.
Oh, I'm gonna say, there's a volleyball game tomorrow. I'm not going
There's a
tomorrow.
volleyball game today.
Is there a game today?
Uh-huh, that's why I can
It's those two are cheese and the last one is pepperoni.
Jay, we don't play with them.
No pizza. George? Yeah.
I'm gonna have a say.
He said it's.
You gotta hold it down,
Oh my
hold the
god.
piece you want. Yeah. You gotta hold the other side. Let me show you. Hold your piece that you want. Hold.
That means.
That was
Bro, he,
I know, but I
So
don't
we call
think
profit.
together. Oh, no, they will,
oh no.
because there's a surprise coming.
That's all you want? Oh, you got one of each, okay.
Watch this. I'm watching, what am I supposed to watch?
And you gonna think.
I don't got time to wait because I don't even talk to Nat like that, so. I see, because she posted it.
We used to have this,
Recommend.
we used to have this program. It was
Oh my
called,
God.
and what it was an after-school home program that transitioned into a basketball league, right?
Oh, she's
So,
Kind
kind of, but this is before somebody, and so we would go there literally for an hour, and then for like 2 hours, we play ball. And we lived, it was a legit league, it was like 8 teams in the league, and it kept a lot of kids off the street, you know, especially doing that. We would get out of school, we would go to the cafeteria, do our homework, and then after that, it would be a basketball game. You know, and then we would go play ball and have tournaments and stuff like that.
I mean, it was a Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, I'm just
And then, at my practice, at this school, we have a homework club where after you can stay school, do your homework, and then you can go to the workout room.
Get some
They might let you.
I learned mine like 3 times. I just.
But the book, you don't got no lead or nothing, but you mean, you get gymnastics to do.
Yeah, so this was like a legit league. Like,
Phases
you
are
know,
blowing up right
you could win like a championship trophies and everything.
I don't know why. Going like $90.
I texted her on Monday.
What time is it?
You lucky that it was in your left hand. Cause aren't you a righty?
It sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be tough.
It's funny because like I've never had like I've never broken a bone yet before until this. You know, the way the surgery was is like they brought me in a room and they're like yeah they put like something over my nose, and when I woke up I was in a cast. It's like I fell asleep for like a second, and like 3 hours later I woke up in the cast.
We should say yeah. Is there something at 8?
You haven't given us something?
Not at 7. Hakeem and them have one at 7. Then at 7 we're getting out to them. We're lost by now.
I know,
2
dude,
times.
I heard. That Drew did messing y'all up.
They know what students I
Yeah, we were cheering for them.
Yeah.
We were there.
Yeah.
They were going to get some school. We was egging them on. Their parents looked at us. They were like, "Thank you." Like, it was,
Thank you for cheering me on.
yes, they were so happy. But they looked at us like disgustedly when they.
They came off the court and sat next to us, and I think they were watching.
They was eating some.
Yeah.
Jerky.
And my cousin was like,
weirdo looking chocolate.
yeah, and my cousin was like, is that a honey bun? And he looked at me, he had looked at me.
It was a Danish. It was a Danish. That.
Oh.
Whatever it was.
He had looked at me, and he was like, this is not a honey bun. It was like 5 minutes after, I was like, oh, I didn't. Okay. I was like, okay. Well, I didn't think it was a honey bun, sir.
Yeah.
Listen, I swear, it's like them white people. White people, when they play ball, we always
Why you look around first?
because
What you go around?
just
Make
because.
sure you're not
But
recording.
I'm just saying, like, we always downgrade them. We be like, oh yeah, they can't play, and then once we
That's
actually play
because
them,
they be going to their
Then people-
camps. They go to their camps. They get paid for them.
They don't even
have a regular.
We don't got no camps. We go to the Y or the red. You pick one.
no. I was doing New Jersey. That one was fun.
For how long? Nobody could be in them camps for a whole summer.
5 days.
Nobody could be in the camps for the
4
whole
days.
summer, living their life. I get a lot all summer at 6 in the morning when nobody else is there. Like,
I want to go to one now. I want to go to prep school.
I want to go to
Oh,
boarding
you just text
school
your cat.
in general. I want to go to a boarding school. I think if I ask my dad, he'll go with me.
No,
Boarding
where
school?
does
Where? Where was it?
I don't know. I
Miss
don't know if
Porter's?
I'll be able to leave yet.
Like in Connecticut or
I
out?
can't out.
Connecticut has some of the
I
most
just doubt
elite
more.
boarding schools in the entire country.
Connecticut. I don't want to be in Connecticut though.
Well, but the thing is, like, the boarding schools in Connecticut are like Ivy League schools.
Got people from other countries.
Like other countries send their kids to go. Like Miss Porter's in Farmington or Westminster in
That's for UConn, they be coming down to Connecticut.
these boarding schools
Yeah, that's
cost
right.
like
Gigi was
$40,000 a year.
Man,
But like this Yale costs $60,000. Literally go to a high school.
Yeah, I want to start like my college early, like, huh?
okay, we're going.
Then you guys start.
Huh? You're going? Yeah. My dad texted me, he was like, am I picking you up from there or the rec?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see my grades?
Mm-hmm.
What we looking at? Yeah. My dad be honest, like my dad, that was his degree because how much he has for my grades. Like as soon as the shit drops, he'll text me. He'd be like, why is this missing? Or why did you go down?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I have to change that. So like if it's one, you have to change. Why do you have Facebook as?
Oh, that's Angel from Facebook.
That's my best friend.
Yeah, I have to check my daughter's grades all the time. Today I was on there, I was like,
My mom doesn't have. Why do you have B's and A's? What school did she go to?
Couple things to make
it's a middle school.
it good.
Yeah, we have A's. I never had that. Right there.
The rest of the team, when
Yeah,
you
you guys
said,
do the percentage.
I swear my sister doesn't have to, but she knows I keep up with
he's
mine.
like, some of y'all don't even want to play.
My dad does the same way.
He be like,
Dad went down, I was like,
Do you read a lot?
Huh?
You read a lot?
Yeah, I have to.
oh my god, she's annoying when she
No, I'm just asking because we need to get my daughter into reading.
she be on FaceTime. All of a sudden she's mad quiet.
Because she reads a
I'm
book.
like, bro, what are you doing? And she's breathing mad hard. Like, okay.
Kind of books. I like the mystery books, like big mystery, crime stuff. But I can't watch scary stuff. But like if it's crime, sometimes like it depends. I'd be scared at night. Like I don't
did
get
anybody
scared.
go see that Halloween movie?
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, that junk
I
was
saw it on
dumb.
I saw it the second day it came out.
I saw it the day it came out.
Which one? The
Halloween
Mike
Kills,
Myers,
the new one.
Oh,
That junk
the one
was
Nate was.
yeah, no.
terrible.
It's not bad. It's not even scary. It's kind of sort
Michael
of
Myers
disappointing.
movies aren't
Like,
scary.
yeah, it was just suspenseful and barely that. Like it was just a movie.
It sucked.
It's
I hate that they had so many. I'm not talking about this one because I know some of y'all ain't watch it. But I'm just talking about in general. Like, they had so much opportunities to kill him. But they just like, what are you doing? You
Oh my
keep
God.
making videos.
I'm sorry, but if I have and you have a knife, I'm killing you.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no should.
They're doing that because
Yo,
they
we get
want-
money from
yeah.
everybody watches him, literally.
First of all, Michael Myers is just, he's just a man. Like, you can kill him. Unlike Freddy and Jason and Chucky and all of them. I never, like, Michael Myers never scared me at all. Like, anyway.
You did it.
No, the movie that just came out though, ew.
The only movie, because when I was younger, I hated dolls. So.
Yes, I still hate that. Because when I was younger, like 7, my mom was watching Chucky with my older brother. And I wanted to be grown and a big kid. So I begged her and she let me watch it. I never liked dolls since. My dad had just bought me American Girl doll.
Oh my
I
god.
did not even touch it anymore. And my dad was so mad. He was like, $100? $100?
But you know, American Girl dolls are expensive. And then all the little
The
parts.
clothes, yes, I had the clothes. I had a matching outfit, pajamas.
Listen, when Chucky first
Chucky
came
will
out,
do that to you, though.
it was called my kid sister was the girl doll, and then my buddy and me. So those were like lifestyle type dolls. And my mother had bought my sister a kid sister doll. After I watched Chucky and I had a nightmare that kid sister doll tried to kill me, the next morning I ran and got her doll and threw it in the dumpster.
No, it sounds like something Josh should do. This boy right here, he is devious. Like, he is so devious. I remember I had mad money. I think it was my birthday money or something. When I tell you it was more than 100, it was more than 100.
What'd he do?
It went missing.
Word?
All the
He lies about
He
it.
lied. He threw my money in the garbage.
No, he didn't.
Why?
He was bad.
Like,
If you wanted to,
I was going crazy. I was like, did I put it somewhere where I don't think I put it?
Yeah.
Because Josh will lie to you to the point where you're like, okay,
frustrating.
yeah, you're like, okay, dang, he didn't really take it. No, that boy took it.
Did you find it?
No.
Jalen, remember that card that was on your little whiteboarder? And
I'll be bringing it back.
And I told you I said that probably was the money, right?
Yeah.
That was it. I spent it because y'all wanted to keep
Are you telling you now? I would have killed you right now.
I spent that money. I spent that on some VC. It was only $60 in the card. So I had like 200K.
That's still not even funny. I would never have told my sibling that.
But
So you stole her money and spent it?
yeah, but I didn't throw it out.
Oh, so it's fine because you didn't throw it out.
No, but I'm talking about the cash. I had cash.
No. That was on that Visa gift card.
I would never believe
That was a trap. I don't even know.
This boy is so dubious. Like, I can't have nothing. If I had candy, Josh will find it. Like, I'll hide it. He'll search my room. I can't leave for 5 minutes. I have to take it with me.
Look at you like a little Dora the Explorer.
when it was me and Chandler at her house. Oh my god. We found some stuff that he did, but we was like, no, I'm not gonna snitch on you. We're not gonna snitch on you. So her dad creeps down the stairs. She knows he's coming. I don't. But we're crying. We're like, Josh, but what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And then his dad comes and like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're talking about girls.
No, they're talking about toys.
I'm like, that's what I meant. He just started lying like, oh, so he's talking about
He was
boys.
like, they're talking about boys they like, and yeah.
I was like, bro, what?
We were looking at him like-
upstairs. We were tight.
Because he had some little holes in the wall with a pencil or something.
Oh.
Mind you, I can tell.
Nails.
Like, with a nail, I can tell. Because I'm like, those holes were not, I hate holes. So I was like, those holes were not in the wall. I know that.
I keep my hose.
Wait, what?
What?
Boy, you even got a phone to keep them.
That's not
6 or 7.
3 minutes.
But no, he is so bad.
So, and I live with him. Like, something's wrong
he
with
hasn't
that
gotten better?
child.
No,
He's been
like we try. I be trying to talk to him. I was like, come on, Josh. Like, come on. You don't
Everybody.
use your phone. And then he
Everybody.
don't listen.
Everybody tries to talk to him. It just don't work.
He gonna learn one
You
day.
didn't get dumped on that one.
I don't even want this.
He gonna learn.
I'm taller than you, Brookie.
How tall are you? Like 5'8"?
Who? Me? Call me 5'8". I'm 5'11".
You're my
No,
dad.
you're not.
You're my dad.
Bro,
Like the
bro.
same height.
Yeah.
You don't look 5'11".
I'm
How
taller
tall
than
do I look?
Take your
You
shoes
look
off.
5'9".
How tall are you?
Take them shoes
I'm
off.
like
taller
6.
than you.
So
sir.
Well, you got, look how tall your
I'll make my shoes hold.
no, I'm not taking my shoes off. I'm 5'11". That's what my doctor said.
That's what I'd be like. You be telling me I'm 4'11", like, okay. I'm 5'3".
Listen, when I played football, they had me at 5'11". I'm 5'11", bro.
How long ago was that?
I didn't straight. You taller than me. You not 5'11". You like 6 feet, bro.
Oh, no, okay. You know Josh is taller than my dad. That is sick. Word.
Already.
Please.
Please.
Oh.
I have respect.
It took you a while. It should have been in space. This is why your arm or wrist broken now.
Yeah, she did it while I was asleep.
No, she didn't. You just said what happened. The way you be acting, she did it.
No, she did it. Like, I'm telling you, every morning I wake up, there's a new bruise or scratching.
Yeah.
Right, wife?
Well, that means she sleeps crazy.
No, that means that she sets her alarm clock to wake up when I'm dead asleep, and then she comes and she like wails on me. Wails.
She hits you to press the alarm to go off?
No.
You wake up. She sets an alarm to wake up before.
Yeah, so she can beat me up.
Oh. I would just. The moment you was old book.
I mean, you can throw it away, whatever.
Burn it.
Because
Burn it.
why did I burn my book?
You didn't even make the book. You made the book?
She made
We
the book.
made the book.
Who's we?
She.
Did you take a sip?
Of course you did.
Not the other one. The one that works.
Hey, bro.
Me?
Yo,
You smell
you like Nemo.
Let me sign that.
I want to touch the boat. All right. Golly, bro.
Bro, he just had like 10 pieces of pizza.
He said he was gonna take the handful. Leave him alone. He's a grown boy.
He wished. I don't know.
He's growing.
We're a win, but he ain't.
Okay, you can have one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Boy.
All right.
Oh my.
Can I see Kendra's book too? I'm about to just do it. So she knows.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that dirty clothes?
Really freezing. Oh, you got fruit snacks.
Put that right there.
All right. So let's get back into our lesson. All right. So 68%.
Joshua, we started.
You ready? All right. So 68% of Americans do not contribute to their workplace retirement. So 68%. That's a large number, right? That's a lot.
More than half.
What does this mean to you? If 68% of Americans don't contribute to their retirement plan, what does this mean?
That people ain't retiring.
Pretty much. They're in debt. You are listening. Yo, give me that. That was actually a really good one.
You saw his shocked face.
So, we're going to talk about. You got a question?
Yeah, if you cover retirement time on another job, what if you quit?
That's a great question.
Or what if they go out of business or something like that?
No, you can't hear each other.
Yeah, go ahead. Use the bathroom. That's a great question. And to answer that question, so whenever you have a workplace retirement plan, that job, so wherever you work, say is Coca-Cola company, right? Coca-Cola company uses a third party to fund your retirement. So they may use like Fidelity or ING or TD Ameritrade, but they use a third party, right? So if they ever go out of, if Coca-Cola ever goes out of business, your retirement is safe because it's with it's not with Coca-Cola in a sense. Another company is handling your retirement, like Prudential, you know. So there's other companies that run that retirement plan for Coca-Cola in your behalf. Now, if you switch to another job, that's a great question. You could do two things. One, you could just leave the retirement where it is and just allow it to gain interest, compound interest. Or two, you could have it roll over to the new company, right? So either or. But that money is yours. Once you start setting money aside for your retirement, that money is yours.
But to bring up,
Sorry, I just want to say it's very nice meeting you guys. Good luck. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do what you want to do. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
You do.
Likewise. You're bringing a voice to all these voiceless people sometimes.
And Josh, thank you for speaking with me. I'm sorry about your friend.
All right. For an individual retirement account. So, what are some key features to an IRA? It grows tax deferred, which means that you put the money in the account now, and you don't have to pay taxes on it until you withdraw the money. You pay taxes on the money when you withdraw it. Maximum contribution per year on an IRA is $6,000 if you're 49 years or younger. So if you're 49 years old and younger, the maximum amount you can put in an IRA per year is only $6,000.
Guys,
There's a spot for this. Yeah, put that $6,000.
So IRA, individual retirement account. This one particular this isn't a workplace retirement account. That means that once you guys start working and are paying taxes on money, you can open up an IRA for yourself,
Yep.
right?
So, yeah, and we're going to talk about the workplace retirement. This is a retirement account that you want to set up outside of, again, your workplace retirement. So if you wanted to go set this up at People's Bank, you can set this up. The government will allow you to set aside $6,000 maximum per year to fund this account. Question? The maximum contribution, if you're 50 years old or older, is $7,000. They give you an extra $1,000. It's called a catch-up, right? Government knows that, if you're 50 years old or older and you want to start aggressively putting money towards your retirement, they give you an extra $1,000 to put into this.
Right, because you're nearing that age of retirement soon, so you need the extra.
So remember how we spoke about the different accounts that banks offer? And we spoke about, the CD accounts, savings, checking accounts, money market accounts, and retirement accounts. Well, this is the retirement account we're talking about. Because again, you can go into the bank and you can put that money into there. I'll move.
Yeah, well, I'm done.
I know what I'm
We good? All right, so you can start withdrawing out of your retirement account without penalties at the age of 59 and a half years old. So, the thing with retirement accounts is, remember how we CD accounts, in which you put money in a CD account and you try to take it out early? What happens to that money? You gotta pay taxes and penalties on it, right? Your retirement account is the same thing. If you were to set up a retirement account and you're not 59 and a half years old, and they're legit about this 59 and a half. Like when you're younger, someone was like, how old are you? You'd be like, I'm 12 and a half. You gotta go to half in there, right?
Yeah, because that means you're about to turn.
Yeah, right? But the government is legit. Like, you could be 59 in 3 months, right? And you can't take your money out of this account without penalties. You have to be that half, 59 and a half, right? So, at 59 and a half years old, you can actually start withdrawing your money out of your retirement account without any penalties and interest. Oh, you got jokes, huh? Okay, now, mandatory withdrawals. So when you're 70 and a half years old, the government is going to force you to to take money out of your account. Because at this point, they're like, you have a lot of money in your account, and you keep growing all this interest, and we don't want to keep paying you all this interest. So at 70 and a half years old, the government is going to force you to take money out of your account. I mean, that's kind of a good thing, because if you're not taking money out of the account by the time you're 70 and a half, it means you don't need it, right? It means you're in a very good financial situation. And the government is like, yeah, we need you to start taking that money out because we're continuously putting interest and compounding and paying you a lot of money.
70 is a long time.
Yeah, it is. All right. Now, so that was IRA. Now let's look at a Roth IRA. So a Roth IRA is in retirement account that allows a person to set aside after-tax income up to a specific amount each year.
Listen to that trick. Tell me this.
He has to talk to certified level.
I heard it. You ain't answering.
Yeah. So
You should be.
Alright.
You better say no if you want to.
I plead the fifth.
Actually,
what's up, man?
you heard that?
He don't love you.
She like latch.
Watch, yeah, smack that head.
Right, she don't speak that way.
Ow.
You're gonna end up with the other
Definitely
hand.
wearing off because my temperature got back down. Yeah, normal. All right.
Wait, oh.
Oh no, it's not gonna change. So key accounts to this, to your Roth IRA, it's pretty much the same as your individual IRA. So the reason why it's called Roth is because Senator Roth, his last name was Roth, created an account that will allow people to pay the taxes on their money now before putting it into this account. Now, I'm gonna give you a scenario and then you guys tell me what do you think, right? So when you are working, right, do you think that you'll make money, the most money in your working life at the beginning of your working life or at the end of your working life?
At the end.
At the end, correct, right? Because then you
So you get raised.
raises and then promotions and, you may, whatever, right? So you make your way up the ladder, right? So if you had to pay taxes on your money towards the end, do you think that you will be in a high tax bracket or a low tax bracket at the end? High, correct. You'll be at a high, right? Because you're making the most money you've ever made, right? Towards the end of your career, and you're gonna have to pay taxes on it, right? So the Roth IRA allows you to pay taxes on the money now. So if you're starting out, right, your working career, are you making the most money or a least amount of money starting off?
At least around.
Correct. So does that mean that you're gonna pay more taxes or less taxes?
Less.
Less. So that's why a Roth IRA is a perfect account for you.
Wait, when you get a check usually for work, yeah, I know it's more, so how much do they take off for each like thing? How much tax do they take off?
So that all depends on what you declare. So when you go in there and you set up your paycheck, you can literally set it up as, how many dependents you have and, how many taxes you want them to take out, right? Some people allow them to take the maximum amount of taxes out of their check. So at the end of the year, they can have a big refund.
Oh, right.
Some people want their money now. So they make them take,
That's smart to take it
I need my money.
out, take maximum tax.
well, that all depends. If you are someone that's really good with money, then you're gonna want all your money now, right? So that at the end of the year, you don't get a refund. Because what it is that when you get a refund at the end of the year, that's a tax-free loan that you gave the government. Because now the government, that money that they're holding for you at the end of the year, they're literally using it, investing it, doing whatever they need to, and then at the end of the year, they pay you, right? But, so, if you had them take the least amount of taxes out of your paycheck so that you can have a bigger paycheck every month, couldn't you invest that extra money into stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and make more money throughout the year than having to wait at the end of the year to get your tax returns? So it all depends on how you are with money, right? So key accounts, a gross pre-tax, right? So remember, when you guys get a job, right, look for a Roth IRA account to put your money into that. Because the Roth favors the young and all y'all. Pay taxes on the money before you put it in. Maximum contribution, again, is $6,000 if you are 49 years or younger. Maximum contribution, again, is the same as your IRA. It's $6,000 plus another $1,000. Nah, that was like, one of them thought bubbles.
Gave us the head.
You can start withdrawing without penalties at 59 and a half years old, so the same as the IRA. And mandatory withdrawals at 70 and a half years old.
Wait, you went way too quick.
It's the same as the IRA. It's the same numbers.
It's 4,000 and 6,000.
It's 6,000 and 1,000. It's the same as up here. So everything's the same.
That's number.
Yeah, so maximum contribution, if you're 49 years old or younger, is 6,000.
Wait, what was the maximum contribution for the top one?
If
If you're 49 or younger, it's 6,000.
No, for 50 years old.
Yeah,
That's
6,000 plus 1,000. So
Yeah,
it's
so
7,000.
6,000 right here, I put a plus on one, 6,000 plus one. Okay, so we're just gonna put 7,000.
you can just bring it over here, bro. Oh, no. Sister said no. All right, so 401k. So remember how earlier we were talking about pensions, how companies used to offer pension plans to their employees? Well, they got rid of the pension plans, and what a pension plan was, the company would actually put money into your retirement account for you, right? Companies got rid of that. So now they're putting the onus on you. So you have to put your own money into your own retirement account. So a 401k helps you do this. So a 401k plan is a qualified employer established plan to which eligible employees may make salary deferrals or salary reductions. So that means that when you get paid in your check, you can say specifically how much money you would like them to take out of your check to put towards your retirement account. On a after-tax or pre-tax basis. So you can have this money go in as a trade, or you can explain. It's an employer established plan, which means that you have to have a job. An employer has to offer this. The maximum contribution yearly is $19,500. So you can put that much money into this account on a yearly basis. You can do it, you can put the money in both Roth or traditional, however you want to do it. Employer match is available. What does that mean? Does anyone know? If you had to take a guess.
Oh, so it's when you make the same thing as like your employee, like someone who works there?
You're close. You're really close.
I don't know.
So what this means is your employer will match how much you put in there up to a certain percentage. For instance, if your employer says, we'll match you up to 6%. So if you put 6% of your paycheck into this account, the employer will match you at 6%. So for instance, if that 6% was say $200, how much is your employer putting in for you?
200.
Exactly. So you put 200 in the account, and then your employer is matching you with another 200. So every check, $400 is going into your retirement, and 200 of it is free money because your employer is putting that in there for you. So now it's puzzling, right? Because remember how we had that statistic that only 68% of Americans contribute to their retirement account? But you have a retirement accounts where your employer will literally put money in the account, free money for you. And these people aren't taking advantage of it. which is ridiculous. That's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table, right? So if I told you I'll give you $400 free every single month, all you gotta do is just put $400 in the account. Would you do it? No one answers.
Josh.
Yeah, like that's free money. It's legit free money. Granted, you gotta pay taxes on it, but it's free money. So a 403B. So a 401k is for private held companies. So private companies are companies like Hertz, Burger King, Wendy's,
Pepsi Cola.
What do you say?
What?
Don't listen to him. So those are privately held companies. Publicly held companies are companies like schools, churches, organizations like the Ungroup, medical facilities. Those are publicly held companies because, those are companies for the public. So they offer a 403B. It's just, in a 403B and 401k, that's just the literal sections in the IRS retirement work handbook that you can find in these laws. That's all these numbers mean, right? So a 403B plan is a retirement plan for specific employees of public schools, tax-exempt organizations, and certain ministries. Key points. It's an employer-established plan. Maximum contribution is still the $19,500. And these numbers change, right? It all depends on who's in the White House or in the Senate at the time, because these numbers change all the time. So that's why you will see when I put 2020, because that's the numbers as of 2020, right? Because these numbers do change. You can, again, opt to put these retirement plans in as a Roth or a traditional, and employer matches are available in these plans as well. If your employer has a match, take it.
Do you have a question, George? Do you have a question?
All right. What does it mean to be vested? So being fully vested means a person has rights to the full amount of a benefit, most commonly stock options, profit sharing, or retirement benefits. So to put that in plain perspective, remember how I told you about your retirement account and how your employer can match for you? So if you put $200 in there, your employer will put $200 for you? All right. So most employers have a little caveat, right? Or a little fine print, as they say. You can't touch that money that the employer put in there for you until after a certain period of time, right? So, for instance, the employer may say, you're not fully vested in this retirement account until after 5 years of working with the company. So, which means that after 5 years of working with the company, the money that the company put in there, the money that the company matched, after 5 years, it belongs to you now. But if you leave the company before 5 years, the only money that you will take is the money that you put in, and not the money they put in. So being fully vested means that, again, the benefits.
Wait, but the money that you put in, it's not really the same amount as the employee.
Yeah,
So you're
but
only getting the amount that you.
correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
so if you leave the job at 4.5 years, and at that 4.5 year point, you've invested, say, 8,000, and the employer invested 8,000. If you leave the job, you're only leaving with what you put in.
So it'll be double
If
if you
you're
stay.
not-
If you
correct.
stay, if you,
But if you're vested, so vested is a time period, right? So after 5 years, like Steph was saying, after 5 years, if you stay with the company, that $8,000 that they put in there for you is now yours. But if you leave the company a day earlier than 5 years, all that money that the company put in there, they take it all back because you're not fully vested. You want to be fully vested. We spoke about compound interest in last class, but I know a few of you guys left. So compound interest is interest on the principal amount in on interest. This is the best way to invest your money because you're going to make so much more money off your investment.
Wait, you just pick that up real quick.
it might be on the,
It's on page
Oh, you're putting it
I
back.
gotta go out there.
What time is it?
And I see you get a watch.
7:13.
Oh, I know how to watch, it just can't fit on this. Broski.
You put on the other
Alright, yeah.
broski.
I would let you sign my cast, but you might put something inappropriate.
He would.
I will dunk on you. Easter me.
We're brothers, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
I don't know, that's.
God.
So who from last class can explain compound interest?
Me.
You weren't even here.
I know. Remember the chart of Bob and Rachel?
Yes, tell us about the chart of Bob and
Well,
Rachel.
bro, Rachel's account did. It's never too late to start your retirement account. But the earlier you start, the better it is because compound interest is a favorite to the to the young, but I put to the
Yes, so, again,
big brain.
You're reading.
so yes, it's never too late to start your retirement, right? The minute you guys start working, like look to start setting money aside into a retirement plan, right? Because again, like I'm like 3 years from 40. I wanna, you know.
You said you're 37?
Yeah.
You said 3 years?
I'm 3 years from 40, so I wanna retire, right?
2.
I wanna be working, and if I am working, I wanna be working under my terms, right? And not someone else's, right?
Yeah.
So that's always, that should be everyone in here goal, right? So,
I'm not writing my book.
Actually,
I'm gonna do
here,
it.
do it. She remembered.
alright, so we're gonna go on page 34, we're gonna take our examination.
Oh, I didn't get what IRA stands for.
Individual retirement.
She wrote it, never mind.
I think it's a 4-3 the maximum.
For the 403B,
This is
19,500.
What does it mean to be fully vested?
You do not have to read that out loud.
Why do you comment?
Because I need to focus. You are distracting.
Hey, mister. What do you tell us? Did they say anything? What things did it?
No, actually, they didn't. Normally they tell you to count down, but they didn't this time.
When you woke up, was there anything playing?
Yeah, I was in the waiting room.
Not the way.
Not the waiting room, the recovery room.
How long does it take for you to like get fine after you have all that medicine on you?
It took more.
Yeah. I couldn't feel my arm until Wednesday. So my
Today's
surgery,
Wednesday, babe. Today's Wednesday.
oh, Tuesday. My surgery was Monday morning, and then like I would say 28 hours after that, I was able to wiggle my fingers.
You was going down?
Like that. You got
Grab
real
my
stuff.
strong arm.
This is strong.
Y'all need to watch Scary.
I don't get it, Louise.
No, it's
This one was funny.
the funny
It's
Scary
the strong hand. It's the strong hand.
with the wings.
Alright, who wants to do number?
Wait, hold on.
Channel
I'll do number 1. Hold on.
You said it.
Oh, George got number 1. Channel.
Yeah, do it. I got
Man, wait, number 1 was the easiest.
That's why
Do it.
George.
No.
Your
It's C. It's C.
Number 1 is C. George, do number 2. Yeah.
Oh, read out the question, children.
Yes,
I want to hear it loud and clear.
Let's hear the one you say next, loud. Right.
Okay.
What does I stand for? I said individual.
George. A.
I also did.
It's after
I did
that.
B.
Correct.
All right, show of hands, who has A?
I'll put it in what you put.
I put B.
And who has B?
I'm with you, so.
You raised your hand for AM.
What is it?
I'm not,
Pizza?
I should be.
Is it acting? I know, that's what I put, but everybody put A. Who's everybody? I was with Chad, the majority.
It's,
What?
You were right. Okay.
Why is your hand up?
Ah, why is she?
So,
Yes,
So wasn't that a
Yes.
B is in before. Who wants to do number 3?
George.
I never.
Go ahead.
what does it mean to be fully invested to own 100% of your time?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
What does D stand for? What does D stand for?
What does D stand for? What do you mean?
You said D stand for report.
Oh, I didn't tell you. Number 4.
I know.
Go ahead.
What does it mean to have an employer match? C, when they match the amount you contribute to your retirement account.
I agree.
Good. George, number 5.
Wait, you said A.
She said the correct
I said
answer.
C.
What age do you start withdrawing money with penalty of C?
59 and a
I
half.
chose A.
I didn't choose any.
George,
I did B.
you are correct.
Yes.
Oh, what is it?
59 and a half.
I didn't know which one. Now I think about it.
70 and a half is mandatory. All right, so for those of you who weren't here last week, I wanted to just go over this chart real quick with you guys so you have a better understanding of compound interest. So real quick, so simple interest versus compound interest. So simple interest is interest on the principal amount only. When we say principal amount, principal means the beginning amount that you put into the account. So if you put $10,000 into an account, what's the principal?
11,000.
No.
Oh, wait, what?
1,000.
Interest, 10%.
No,
What
so
is that?
principal. What is the principal? If the principal is the beginning amount you put into an account, and you put $10,000 in the
Oh,
account.
10,000.
Exactly. So the principal is always the beginning amount. So simple interest is interest on the principal amount only. So in this case, Bob walks into a bank, he sets up an investing account that he's going to put his principal amount as $10,000. Every single year, Bob is going to receive 10% interest on his $10,000. So 10% of $10,000 is always going to be $1,000. So every single year for the next 10 years, Bob's account is going to grow by $1,000 each year. So after 10 years, Bob's account went from $10,000 to $20,000. Is that good?
Not as better as Rachel.
Exactly. But it is good, right? Bob did double his money, right? Now, Rachel, because she took my class and she was paying attention,
Rachel.
I'm hearing Jackie.
and so she decided that, hey, you know what? I know that compound interest is going to be the best interest for me in my investments, right? So Rachel, her principal amount, she puts $10,000 in. It's also going to grow at 10% interest every single year. But as you can see, year 1, Rachel made $1,000, right? Because 10% of $10,000 is $1,000. What happened in year 2? How much money did Rachel make year 2 in interest?
1,100.
Now, why is that? Why is her $1,100 more than Bob's? What happened?
I don't know, honestly.
Anyone?
Because it's adding up over time.
Correct. So instead of the 10% going off of the principal amount of $10,000 and just being $1,000, the 10% went on the new balance. So it's 10% off of the new balance with the interest in it, which is $11,000. So 10% of $11,000 is $1,100. So that's why compound interest is on the interest and on the principal.
So it took 10% of the total that they're.
Correct, at the end of the year, and it incorporated the interest, right? So as you can see, in year 3, the end of year 2, she had $12,100. So 10% went off of the $12,100 and brought it to 10% of that, which is $1,210. So at the end of 10 years, Rachel has $25,937 in her account, which is $5,937 more than Bob's, because compound interest is on the interest and on the principal amount. Simple interest is only, right? So that's why compound interest is what you want in your investments all the time, 100 days in the hour. That makes sense. All right, any questions, comments, concerns? Because I'm old. No, it's not old, it's called knowledgeable. All right, any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
All right, you guys were great. If you want any pizza, take it with you. If you want any gummies, no more pizza.
You don't need no more.
What? Are you trying to leave me already?
I was gonna give it soul food next week.
Soul food? Absolutely.
It just sounds good.
Hey, not next week, the following one. So next week.
Since we started like it's a week after.
Y'all eat already? Oh, yeah, they.
Every time
Yeah, y'all gonna have like a big banquet.
Yeah, don't you wanna save your soul food for like graduation though?
Yeah, no, that's what you make it for.
Okay.
Hey, before y'all go.
Hold on, Warren speaking.
I forgot to do the clap thing. I wanna thank y'all for participating in that with him. I didn't realize, that you guys had people that you lost. That was hard to hear. And I also want to thank y'all for coming, because sometimes when I'm here, I'm thinking that you guys are here because your parents made you come, or you're like, you would rather be other places. But I see and I realize now that some of what we're doing it's really good for you guys, and that you guys appreciate being here and the people that put it together. Because I sometimes think y'all want to be other places, but it's good to hear it. Sometimes, that's okay. Sometimes I want to be other places. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate you doing that, because it's going to help us be able to keep these programs going. When people see it on the news and other people want to help, and we can keep it going. So, thanks, you guys. I know some of that was hard, so I appreciate it. Okay.
See you crying. Oh, I'm sorry.
Get y'all later.
All right, man.
All my payments were causing me to sweat.
Want more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What you got?
Huh?
Want more? There's 2 more left. There's 2 more slices left.